9 minutes past 7 a.m. Definitely still driving your business in here yet. Another very interesting business day. Quite lots of aspects to learn, and of course, quite lots of more things to really achieve on such really a day. But of course, all this is powered by Zabu. We just made sure that you can actually trade stocks at whatever part of the country you will be at. Start 292 hash. That is the magic code, as you'll be available with quite lots of options. You can actually buy government bonds and securities. That is on Altex with as little as 15,000 Ghana shillings, but definitely you can actually pay more than that. You can pay 100,000, whatever is at your disposal. Definitely, at the end of the day, what we mind about is making sure that you can own a company stock or a government bond. Well, the markets open at exactly 8:15. That is a.m. and the close at exactly 3:15 p.m. That is East African time, Monday to Friday, except on the weekends when they don't operate, and also the public holidays, they don't really operate. Zabu, what is the excuses why you shouldn't? What excuse are you giving us why you shouldn't buy company shares? Zabu, my money, my future. Altex East Africa, do something new. And now getting straight into our business update this morning, of course, the fast kickoff. I shall be looking at the challenges, of course, being faced by the Masakari Farah Hospital. Definitely, we get realized that according to this report, limited funds that delay services and needed equipment is one of the key major hindrances. There is the aspect of rates of water and power increases. Definitely, that is something which is also of a great challenge to the Masakari Farah Hospital. But definitely, let's get into this update real quick. I'll be returning with just a brief discussion. Stick around.
Chair, these figures have been static for very many years. Whether you have added a new building, whether you have got additional equipment, like the heavy equipments, the oxygen plants, which consume power at an industrial rate, no money has been added. And in our presentation, the appeal is that this committee should help us. On top of that, you also know that rates for water, especially, and power, have been increasing over the period of time. Even in our homes, when you look at the bill you paid in 2 years ago, it has almost doubled for water today. The other issue, the necessities for utilization of equipment, we mentioned the earlier, Chair. For example, the new digital X-rays and the CT scans, we don't have radiologists. So the Ministry of Health needs to support us. How are we going to use the CT scan without a radiologist? The radiographers can take the images, but who is going to interpret them and give us the reports? It's an issue that you need to discuss with Ministry of Health, and they tell us how we shall operationalize these machines. The delays of equipment installation in Masaka, the challenge Chair has mentioned, specifically for the ICU. The Ministry of Health funded a modification of the building of the ground floor of the MCH building into an ICU. The budget provided didn't match the required BOQs after they were costed. And along the way, there was a variation. The total added up to 580 million. We have communicated to Ministry of Health, and nothing has been done yet, and that's what is holding the installation of the ICU equipment. The worry, it may also escalate the costs of the structure, the costs of the prices of materials. It has been over a year now since they have been waiting for that additional funding to complete. Estimated difference, Masaka 13.5 and 10.9 for the current year and next year. Chair, we have been sharing with you at BFP and now that the money for capital development was knocked off. That difference is for capital development. And for Masaka particularly, we have a 40-unit staff house which was under construction. It's at 38.5% completion at the first slab. If no money is provided for completion or continuation, this building, I'm sorry, it may end up being damaged. That slab may even collapse. Government is going to lose money.
13.5%.
It's at 8.5% compression. The slab of the first floor. It's on the slab of the first floor, yes. Recruitment plan figures seem to be old scales. We have system issues when we are working on the recruitment plan. The figures that we use are input into the system. You cannot put it manually. So when you select a senior consultant, it will give you the numbers you want to put, then it brings the salary automatically. So we had challenges. The administrators of the system, I think, had not input the correct new salary structure. We do hope it will be rectified, but the payment, when it comes to payment currently, they are being paid the right salary.
Well, that's the situation regarding the Masakari Referral Hospital. Definitely more of those discussions. You'll be catching them up to in here as SMB as we keep driving. If that is your business. Well, now away from that, now let's get straight into what's making headlines into the press, the print media, and definitely, as always, I have the New Vision and the Daily Monitor with me here, and I'm going to kick off with the New Vision first. And on here, we see that the Bank of Uganda and the Vision Group partner to popularize, that is, agriculture credit. Yes, that is something very remarkable for any stakeholders into the agriculture. This partnership will be quite a very key, and this will involve extension of credit related facilities to the stakeholders that are participating into the industry. Well, that is something quite positive in there. Now, still in here, something very interesting as we see Madivan earmarks 750 million Ugandan shillings. That is to support vulnerable students in so many aspects. You know, this is something quite very beneficial, and any student right there, it's very important that for you get yourself in position. You position yourself to actually benefit from such an offer. Madivan earmarking 750 million. That is to support vulnerable students. Well, and still in here, we see that government, of course, to spend 37 billion shillings. That is to repair the Kira Nalubari dams. So that is something very key. Now, the Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited has announced the urgent that is need to invest up to 10 million US dollars. That is about 37 billion in both Kira and Nalubari power plants. So that is something quite that was cited out as very urgent. Well, and still in here we see government and Pineti sign new agreement. If that is for the Luboa Hospital, and definitely this is something that has been out there in the spotlight regarding the Luboa Hospital, matters to do with accountability. Well, what is it with Pineti this time around? You can check it out on the New Vision regarding that matter. Okay, now we're still seeing here, they say why NEMA suspended dustbin requirements in vehicles. Well, that is something that, you know, I don't think should even be emphasized by NEMA. It's something that should be quite of a great responsibility for any citizen in there. But well, you can actually check more of that story regarding that matter and see what it entails. And some other interesting story in here. The First Lady implores young people that is to shun homosexuality. Well, something which has been on the talk of every Ugandan lately. All right, and now still in here we see some very interesting news in here as President Yoweri Museveni is set to meet Vladimir Putin. That is in July, and of course they'll be speaking on Russian ties, Uganda and the Russian ties. So that is something very remarkable, and in case you're just more interested in more finding out what's going to be really this about, you can check out the New Vision in there regarding that matter. And of course also we see the aspect of mental health cases. A overwhelmed Butabika. Well, that is something in there. And taking a look here as we see something that matters to do with COVID-19, and they're telling you how Soroti Hospital leveraged partnerships to save HIV patients. I think this is something very interesting. Definitely leveraging partnerships. You cannot do anything, you can't execute it on your own. You have to really be in some sort of a partnership with any other stakeholders regarding that matter. So how did they do it? We shall be definitely checking that out in that very innovation. All right, now still looking in here, we see rising cases of hydrocephalus, that is spina bifida worry experts. Well, that is some sort of illness in that way, and that is something that for any Ugandan out there should be very, very careful. That is hydrocephalus spina. Well, something to check it out in there. Okay, and of course, quite more interesting as we see universities, yes, urged to form collaborations. Yes, the Ugandan universities have been urged to enter into collaborations, that is with foreign academic institutions to spark both knowledge and skills, and skills transfer to the different students. You know, there is what we call the exchange programs, where they get to find out what's really happening. Well, at this very time, let's get straight to find out what's happening in the world of traffic. The traffic congestion, and this time around, we are at the Wandegea traffic lights, definitely observing the situation, what is happening in there. Of course, at the look of things in here, taking a look at the vehicles that are coming in all the way. That is from Kampala Road, coming in straight to Wandegea, and definitely some are continuing to Mulago and Kamocha and so many other related areas. And now the shoot that we're taking a look at, that is the Makerere route, and of course it's always congested. Like I always say, there are two sets of traffic lights. There are those at the main gate, Makerere University main gate. Definitely you find that you're going to be held there, and away from there still you have to find the major traffic lights just right here at this junction. But of course, before you reach the main gate Makerere, there is the Sao Paulo junction, there also some traffic lights. So that explains why we're able to see quite a lot of congestion on the Makerere road, just right there, quite very thick. So for the people that are coming in from areas like Kasubi, you're coming in from areas like you stay around Sao Paulo, you know, you stay in Nakulabye, you probably plan to pass via the Wandegea junction. Let me say that you may not be in position to actually reach in the time you anticipate to reach. Definitely you'll reach where you're heading to, but of course the time is going to be a little bit limited for you in there. As we're taking a look at the congestion, it's quite very thick, a huge fleet of vehicles, and in most cases they are held in 3 to 5 minutes intervals in most cases, and that explains why we're seeing what we are observing in there. So that is the situation like that for the Makerere route. You know that, you know, those are quite very densely populated areas. They are residential areas. 80 actually biggest percentage of the people that stay there are quite lots of them, and maybe a few people that go to those areas to actually execute what to do, let me say, business of such. Well, now taking a look at the vehicles coming in all the way from the Makerere route, and they're heading towards Kampala. Definitely, in most cases, for all the people that are actually coming into town, it's always heavily congested as compared to, you know, other people. Now, those are the people that are coming in all the way from Makerere coming to town, and there is a mixture in there. We have vehicles that are coming in from Bombo Road, still heading towards Kampala. We have also the vehicles coming in from Makerere Road, so you can see it can be quite a fleet of vehicles all concentrated in one area, and that definitely leads to a congestion in a way. Well, it's 23 minutes past 7. Still observing the traffic atmosphere in here, and I know this is quite the right time, the time where majority of the people actually start to make movements. Well, depending on the nature of the job you're going for or the nature of your business, some people are not really required to be so early to respond to their respective places. And well, that is the situation we are observing in there. Quite many borders as we observing in here, but there is the traffic officers around there really making sure that everything is fully under control. Now you see the junction, those are now some of those vehicles that are coming in, that is from the Kamocha side, you know, all the way from the Blago roundabout, and now they are connecting straight to Makerere Road, heading to different destinations, and people need to go and execute what they ought to execute. Now that's taking a look in there. The borders in there, crossing in over there. Majority of them actually don't really obey the traffic rules. Yes, so that is how we're observing the situation in right there. That's the Bomber route. Taking a look at it there. Of course, we're talking about people that are coming in from areas like Boise, Kalere, normally use that route when coming to town. And it seems to be, of course, according to the look of things, we're seeing vehicles have just been released after held for quite some time in there. But I'll say it's congested, despite the fact that they're coming out. It's quite really congested. I'm seeing quite lots of vehicles in there, most especially people that are coming in from there, coming to town. Yes, seeing quite lots, many different sorts of vehicles, heavy trucks, private vehicles, public vehicles, well, all the way from those areas coming in down here to town to execute the businesses. Well, if you plan to use that route, definitely there are those moments when the vehicles will be released for just a breather, just about 3 minutes let free, and definitely you'll be held. But the challenge is that the time they are held for those few minutes there, it forms quite a thick fleet of vehicles. As you can see, it's now been like 2 minutes the vehicles are being held, being set free, but they are quite still many coming in from there, from the Bomber route. So Bomber route seems to be a little congested for any person that is coming from areas like Kalere, Boise, and you plan to come and execute business around town. You could probably find another alternative. Now, taking a look at, of course, the route, that is the Kamocha route, heading, the people that are heading to Mulago, of course, connecting to the Mulago roundabout. Of course, according to the observation in here, the personnel that are coming in from there, and they are probably coming to Wandegere. Some are coming in towards to connect through, to pass through the Wandegere junction, connecting straight to town. Yeah, according to the look of things, it's kind of congested. So if you're coming in from Kamocha, and remember, before you come to this roundabout, there is some Mulago roundabout which also has its own congestion in a certain way. So for the personnel that's coming in from Mulago, and you're probably coming in towards town, and you really want to keep time, you could probably find a better alternative. But when you come in straight in here, you might be delayed a little bit when it comes to, of course, reaching time and execute what you ought to execute in time. And of course, so many borders in here, but trying to keep the discipline, of course, being enforced by the traffic officers to make sure that nothing really goes wrong when it comes to traffic conduct around that very area. Well, that is the situation. Yes, right there at the Wandegere, and of course, traffic. Yes, it's quite very mildly congested, definitely compared to the different routes. What route are you going to use? Well, that all depends on you. But I'll say it's a bit congested, most especially for the people that are coming in. That is going to use the Makere route. Yes, it's quite a little bit tricky and quite very congested in a sense of that matter. Well, 28 minutes past 7, and now let's get into a short commercial break. When I return, we shall be heading to see what's happening around East Africa and the international community at large. Stick around. A very good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.